Millie Bright's retirement from international football. Sarina Wiegman has admitted that she did want to call up the Chelsea defender to the England squad, but she ultimately respects the decision to call it time. Our reporter Anton Tolui has been at St George's Park for us today, and we can join him live now. Lovely to see you, Anton. Look, Millie Bright has been a key figure, hasn't she, for Sarina Wiegman's team, both on and off the pitch. How difficult do you think this was for her to take?
Yeah, I think Sarina Wiegman, as you were saying, would have loved to have Millie Bright available, not just for sort of these games coming up, but building up to the World Cup in Brazil in 2 years' time. But also, you've got to remember that England have just come off winning the Euros without Millie Bright, and they've got a bright sort of young defensive group that obviously they have high hopes for. So it'd be interesting to actually find out where Millie Bright fit in the pecking order of England's centre-backs and whether that had any weight in the decision that Millie Bright took. And these are still question marks that we still have, because Sarina Wiegman refused to go into details today about the nature of the conversations that she had with her captain at the World Cup 2 years ago, but also wouldn't even talk about really much about the time frame. Said, yes, we did talk after the Euros, and obviously the decision came officially just yesterday. So it's interesting really to know what those discussions were. Like I said, the place that Millie Bright would have had in the squad, especially without Leah Williamson, the captain for this time around. Would Millie Bright have come in a leadership role, or would she come in as a squad player? Well, it's a question obviously we never need to know the answer to, because she will no longer be playing international football. But she's been a huge part of English football for the last decade, and Wiegman was effusive full of praise for the Chelsea captain.
At the back of the Euros we had a conversation, and of course competition has started already, and Millie told me that she was going to retire from international football, which is also now spread in the world. So yeah, I thought we had a very good conversation. Of course she has been huge for us, for me, for the team, on and off the pitch. Also even before I came in, she has been a great personality and a leader on and off the pitch, and I'm just really grateful that I've been just a little bit part of her journey, and yeah, grateful that she's been part of my team. She's still a very good player, so I want her in the squad, but I totally understand the decision she makes for life.
Can't change your mind?
No, I don't think that's how it works that way. I think she had been thinking about it very thoroughly, what she wanted, and I think when the player makes a decision like this, when you had such an incredible career internationally, because her career is still ongoing, of course, then it's not appropriate to have that conversation, I think. I just totally respect it, and it must have been really hard to make this decision.
Yeah, and Anton, I guess the bad news for Sarina Wiegman is this is not the first time that we've seen somebody announce their retirement just before a squad gets announced. Are we seeing a little bit of a trend here? What do you feel is going on?
Yeah, look, I don't think Sarina Wiegman would particularly really want the players to retire in the ways they have. Remember, Mary-Ups decided to call it a day just before the Euros after finding out she was no longer going to be England's number one. You had Fran Kirby step away from international football after she found out she'd only be on the standby list for the Euros in the summer. Then, of course, Millie Bright, who withdrew from the Euros for mental health reasons to sort of refresh herself after a long season, both mentally and physically, and then obviously decided to retire before this squad announcement today. So all three of them have kind of dominated squad selection. So I don't think it's necessarily how Sarina Wiegman wanted to say goodbye to three of her sort of favourite players, I suppose, three players that are synonymous with the success that has been building in English football over the last few years. But she admits, look, you've got to look at these things individually, and she's only focused on one thing, and that's the future of the England team.
I think it says that's how the game goes. I think it's a natural process that young players coming in, players that have been in an environment and come in another stage of their life or further in their career, sometimes make the decision to retire. Sometimes I tell players they won't be selected anymore, so then they retire. And I think that's a natural process. And now, of course, we had a couple. Also because these players, of course, have had a tremendous career and with huge highs. And it's also time to move on for them.
So Millie Bright's place in the squad goes to Arsenal centre-back Katie Reid. Her first call-up. She's one of three players to get their first call-up, alongside Lucia Kendall, midfielder from Aston Villa, and Arsenal left-back Taylor Hines, who previously last year represented Jamaica for the first time. She's now switched leads back to England, who she represented at youth level.
OK, Anton, thank you very much indeed.